something popping up in the news that is cross-sectional because it concerns everyone within the film industry. Because there's a lawsuit that's gone forward from some fans of the film Yesterday from 2019. That was a Danny Boyle joint, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah, because the trailer had Ana de Armas in it. And as we know, Ana de Armas fans are an army. The Ana army is strong. And they showed up at the theater expecting to see their queen on the silver screen, and she was not there. So, her role was cut. They are suing. And now we have a precedent that could be set where, you're on the hook, Hollywood, if you advertise something in a trailer and you don't deliver on it.
Yeah, it's interesting because, these two, they filed a class action lawsuit for $5 million. So technically, if this goes through and they win, anybody who rented this movie or went to this movie could get in on that.
Get their money back,
Yeah, get their money back. So I guess here's what it's going to come down to is Universal is going to argue that trailers are artistic speech or they're free speech under the First Amendment, and it's a piece of art that is meant to be interpreted. It's a shortened version of the film that is open to interpretation. And then on the other side, the lawyers on behalf of these two guys are going to argue that no, it's actually commercial speech, which has less protections under the First Amendment than other forms of free speech. It has less protections, and it's subject to government regulation. Uh-huh. So my question is, which is it, Chuck?
I am not a lawyer, but I could see the argument going both ways, being the free speech absolutist that I am. But, understanding that, when it comes to commerce and business, Uncle Sam sure do love, putting his finger on the scale, a certain way, one way or another where it benefits them the most. And I'm pretty sure that if they would cede to Hollywood the freedom to be able to sell people fugazi, egregiously, so that's the thing. I'm not too upset at what they did with Ana de Armas in this movie. That happens all the time. Terrence Malick makes his entire career to torment the actors themselves into giving, Adrian Brody thought he was the star of The Thin Red Line. Did he have cause to sue Terrence Malick for having his part completely shaved out of the movie, but for one scene? And if people were expecting to see him based on advertisements, I don't know. I think you just have to understand that there's the cutting room floor. They're constantly putting bits and jokes and scenes, or from comedy movies, like the Judd Apatow movies in particular, where the trailer will show you something that'll be really funny, but it's not actually in the movie at all, because it was just one of the takes that they had, and they could use it in the advertising because they could get people to show up. But then when they look for that moment in the actual movie, it's never there. But do those people have a cause to sue? I'm not sure either, because they're basically just using the whole buffalo, to bring people in. I don't know. I don't want this thing to actually set any precedents. Because then, that lady who sued Drive, could probably have another run at that apple. You know what I mean? Have another bite at it. Because if you misunderstand the advertising, or you mistake, A24 sold me on another fucking horror movie, the fact that I got a lame family drama, can I sue them now? Maybe I can. Maybe I should. But then, if they promise you, the biggest horror movie of the year, and it's a complete turd, can I sue you? Well, I'm quoting, so-and-so from, Collider.com. They're the ones who said it, not me. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's a weird situation. And I'm sorry for any jury that actually has to decide on this, because they're not going to understand it any better than I do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because in this particular case, I don't think I really, these two guys can kind of honestly fuck off, but there are definitely cases out there where movies were deceptively marketed. And I think that, using this particular thing, the yesterday thing, as the basis for this case is probably the wrong way to go about this, because there are movies out there that were marketed as like action films, and they stuff the trailer with like the 2 minutes of action the movie actually has, but then when people actually went to it,
Yeah.
there was nothing. Or, you know, there are movie studios that purposely leave politically you know, argumentative subjects out of movie trailers, but then when people go to the movie, they get pissed at, you know, all this stuff that they don't want to see. And yeah, I don't know. I think there was a better way to go about this than this stupid yesterday situation. And at the end of the day, it's kind of a question of, would you rather you know, potentially see a trailer for a movie that is maybe more artistic, but is not doing a good job of actually selling the movie? Or would you rather have movie trailers that are going to tell you exactly what you're going to get and be more accurate? And, you know, if that second option comes out on top, we can say goodbye to trailers like the Social Network's trailer, for instance. You know.
Yeah. And that's and God, there's a bunch of different, like, will we ever see things like, you know, one of the Jurassic World do? They created a full trailer that isn't in the movie at all. You know, it was created just to advertise the damn thing. You know, like you think about the Lion King back in the day. They just took that opening sequence and just said, this is our trailer for our movie. And you didn't really give anyone an inkling about what the rest of the movie was with that. You know, would that be allowed in this new paradigm? It probably wouldn't, because you're just giving them an uninterrupted look at a sequence from it. So is that a trailer? Or maybe it's a preview and it's irrelevant. I don't know. But either way, people do silly things, and we need tort reform in this country. That's the walk away statement from this, because that's the thing. I haven't seen this fucking movie. Have you seen this fucking movie?
Yesterday?
Yeah,
I have. It's not worth watching. I think I watched it on HBO Max or something, and it's kind of part of Danny Boyle's very slow downhill slide, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's put out some dogs over the last few years.